Hello, today we're doing an unboxing of the Huina 1580 V5 2026 Advanced Edition digger. It's going to be a three-part video as this. Today the unboxing, looking at the items, doing minor testing with them. Then there'll be two further parts which I'll talk about later. It comes in this rather tasty case, which is very useful for carrying it around. I know we said unboxing, but I've already taken it out of the box. We wouldn't want to see the mess I made trying to get it out of there. It was so tightly packed, it was just a farce. One side of this box is the digger, the other side is the accessories. Huina remote control functional professional excavator model, the updated version. Here we have the remote, quite easy to hold remote. They have the controls for the buckets, the arms, up, down, left, right, everywhere they go. Controls for turning it on, one for lights. Extra controls for the attachments, special buckets, we'll come to them later. There's a LED light up here where you can set passwords and how long you've been on it, etc. Right, first attachment. It's a bit of like a log grab. It's quite light. I'm hoping that's got some grip on it when we test it. We'll see shortly. It's quite tightly packed for safety, very handy for when it's travelled a long way in the delivery vehicle. This one is supposed to be like a log cutter, but obviously for safety reasons that's as much use as a chocolate tea guard. Or should that be fire guard? Made it funny and I still got it wrong. So really, I don't actually see that being of much use, but as a part of a functional toy. This one is an attachment where these come out like that, obviously to grip things. I've seen these sort of things when you see scrap yards where the digger goes down and grabs a load of scrap and then puts it into the hoppers. I can see that having quite a lot of use. We'll definitely give that one a test. This one, which is actually quite heavy, that's extremely sharp. It's a pneumatic stone breaking drill. Obviously we could be slightly lacking power to cut stones, but I have seen someone on YouTube do it where he had very compacted soil that was, I mean, really compacted and dry, and this, he quite easily demonstrated how easy it was to break through it with this. So we'll definitely be giving that a test on something. We have a bag of screwdriver, a little like an Allen key, and some long extended bolts, spares, plus these attachments. We'll need things like that as well. Battery that comes with it. That isn't the one that came with it actually. Made a mess of that one. That's the one that came with it. I actually ordered some extra ones because they take 5 to 7 hours to charge. And you're only getting maybe 40 minutes usage, so you wouldn't want to be using it for 40 minutes and wait 5 to 7 hours before you could use it again. So I bought 3 spares of those, which I'll talk about later. I got a good deal on them. I bought this from Serious RC Remote Control. I'll talk about them later, but they're a very good company. And the last attachment, this locks into the top of the arm of the excavator. It's with those attachments there for quick release for certain of these. it's sort of got some bars there, and it quick release on that one, and quick release on that one. That isn't quick release, and that isn't quick release. But it's for two of them, it's very good. Also, on the digger itself, the bucket, it won't be used on that one either, because for items that get an awful lot of heavy use, like the bucket, it needs to be in really firm. So that's all the accessories. We just now need to turn the box around and let's have a look at the digger. Right, okay, we're going to do a bit of testing really, digging. It's only sand, it's any old digger can do sand, but it's good to see how easy it is, how effective it is. Just happen to have this box of sand in my house. It looks like it's full of conkers, it's not. It's full of sweet chestnuts. I read that if you put sweet chestnuts in sand it'll keep them longer, because we found a tree near us which shed thousands. And it doesn't, they're all crispy and hollow. So it'd be good to get this out the house, so let's empty the sand out. If it doesn't look like it's very practical or a good digger, it's a great digger. It's me. You know that thing when you're a kid where you pat your tummy and rub your head? Well, this is exactly the same. One hand doesn't know what the other's doing when I've got remotes in my hand. So just bear that in mind. Right, it's all metal, although that doesn't sound like metal, but it is metal. Definitely metal. It's metal everywhere. Weight of it, 7 to 8 kilograms. One site says 7, another says 8. It actually feels a lot more because it's so awkward to get hold of to lift. You've got to be very careful of, you can't just grab the arm, otherwise you're going to have one broken digger. So we have a metal bucket. This is a V5 2026 model. The reason it's an upgrade over the V4 is the servos, I don't know if that's the servos, but those things are strengthened longer, better bolts, the motor itself is better, and the door opens. It even turns a little handle there, and you've got a door that opens. That's a big wow for some people. Some people will put a little man in there. I would have put my camera in there when I go out in the garden, except these rock bars are going to stop any vision, so I won't bother. But you've got a little door with a handle, metal, perspex. In the back, in there, undo that, the battery's in there. Everything's easier until I try to do it. There we are, battery's in there. That isn't the battery that came with it. The battery that came with it was that one. It's just I bought extra ones because there's no point having 40 minutes play and then having to wait 5 to 6 hours for those to charge, which they do take 5 to 6 hours. Metal. On some models, this bit steam comes out of, but I don't seem to have anything there unless you put a little stick in there that starts the steam off. We'll have to look into that, although I'm not really bothered about a bit of steam coming out the back. Let's have a look. You can move it around as it is and it sounds alright, but putting that noise on totally changes it. It does for me anyhow. And obviously lights. Although I did do a fair bit of the digging and I forgot to actually turn that sound on, because it still sounds alright even without the extra noise. Let's have a look. This remote, take that little bit off the back, and there's 3 batteries in there, AA batteries. You have your controls. Let's have a look. The right hand side one is bucket and arm. Left hand one is arm, different up and down this time, and if you go left or right it swings. To go forwards and backwards you have these 2 things on here, forward, backwards. You have to remember though, if you've swiveled, can't do that one, if you've gone round the whole 360 degrees, so technically it's then facing that way, where you once went front going that way, it'll actually send it backwards. So if you always want to go forwards by pressing them forwards, make sure you've got this back in the right direction. LDC, which gives you a time display, how long you've been on it. It is password protected if you want to do it. I haven't actually worked out how to do that one yet. Wi-Fi signal, battery strength. There's these 4 buttons there, but reading manuals isn't my cup of tea, so I'm quite happy. No one's going to steal it, and I need a password for it. Right, that one is, we've said, sound. That one is lights. These 2 on the 2 of the attachments that require different movements, that's what those are for, which when I've attached them we'll see about that. So that's the handheld remote. Right, so I better start trying to attach some of these attachments. Easy to do, just fiddly and slow. Right, I'll do that. Do that. Right, got something. So it must be this button on the right hand side. Apparently not. Oh, I need that. What's going on? Go. Sorry, I can't shake wrong. Okay, on the remote, this one here rotates it round and round in 360 degrees like the turret, and this one here opens and closes. Theory is one of these should do it. That rotates it like the other one does. This one should open and shut it. Right, well, it ain't gonna do no cutting, but don't know what I even bothered for. Come on. Right, we had a good test with all those attachments. We have a few opinions on some of them. Plenty of people just want it for playing with, not just imagining. I actually wanted to do some digging in the garden. So that kind of attachment, it works as a plaything, imagination. I suppose you can't have things that will cut through things, otherwise some poor youth might cut themselves quite bad. It works, but it's not functional. This one, it works fine as a play toy, but not functional for anything other than just imaginary. This thing, that works quite well actually, in the right environment. If you had a toy scrapyard, because that's where I've seen them quite a lot in scrapyards. I've watched quite a few videos on scrapyards and they're the ones they use. That's quite good actually. I'm not really strong gripping, so I might struggle to use it out in the garden for my next project. That's obviously just a quick attachment, so a couple of those attachments are quick release, and they are quick release compared to like this having to bolt it in. This, unfortunately, couldn't get it to work, but I have seen these work. I mean, that is really sharp and heavy. I'm going to really have another look at that one and see what's wrong. I'd like to get that going because possibly could find a use for that. But obviously this digging bucket is the main thing. I don't buy a digger to do anything other than dig. And for part 2 of this, I'll be out in the garden. I've got a patch, a small patch. Well, I have a lot of big patches where I do potatoes. But I'm going to designate a small patch that's a bit of a mess after I pulled them up last year. So I need to go out, level it with that, dig the holes with that, drop the potatoes in with maybe even that, cover it up, and that'll be a good test of its digging ability in the soil. That'll be part 2. Part 3 will be in 3 to 4 months. I'll be going out with it and digging the potatoes up. Now that could be tricky. That was when I really could do with a cutter, because the tops of potatoes are quite tough to get off at the end. So I'll have to work on that. Maybe 3 or 4 months of digging around on, I'll be able to handle it much better and work something out. Tools, there's enough tools. Got to be careful for the attachment here. One of those bolts is like hexagonal thread, and the other one is a lot smaller round thread all the way. You can get this round thread in the hexagonal hole, which will be wrong, but you can't get the hexagonal bolt in the round thread. The reason you see this other digger here is for 2 reasons. That'll dig sand just as well as this did, and that's how I've used it in the past. But it won't do anything more than just digging sand. But it took a bit of worry away from me, did that one. I've got 2 of those. That was only £50 brand new, and the other one was even less, half price, brand new, but off auction on eBay. And the reason I found those quite soothing was because if it broke and I couldn't repair it, it was £50. If this breaks and I can't repair it, it's more than £50. And the trouble is, to send one of these back to get repaired, it's going to be £60–70 in postage, and then minimum of £50–60, even if it's a minor repair. Where that one, £50, write it off if it's a bad thing. Right, I bought this. I'm from Yorkshire. If we don't like something, we have a right good moan and let people know about it. But I'm old school, and if something's good, I actually say about it. I bought this from Serious RC off the internet. When I wanted this is the 1580 V5 2026 version with the 3 upgrades which I mentioned. The door that opens, extra saver power things, and better arms. Looking on their site, it was £365. The next cheapest online was £399, which was them again, but on eBay, because eBay charged people extra. And then the next price after that was £444, which is a big difference. I actually looked them out on Trustpilot. I thought, why are they so much cheaper? Maybe they're dodgy, but Trustpilot, 100% positive reviews, everything about them's right. And when I went online the day to buy it, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm online, and you get a little chat feature on websites where you can chat, but usually it's robots. But I said hello, and I expected to get a robot back, but it was the actual people, either online or in the shop. And I mentioned about buying this, and they said, have to be quick, it's going up next week to £389. And I thought that was just a sales pitch, because I've bought things before where people have suckered me into saying, oh, we're either going out of business next week or things are going up. And I actually bought twice off someone who said that to me 2 years running, but they're still going 7 years later. So when it's £70 cheaper than anywhere else, I can't be cheeky and ask for a discount. So what I said was, I mean, it's no good having one battery when you have a toy like this. So these were $14.99, and I said, if I buy the digger and 2 of these batteries, what deal can you do with me on the batteries? And they offered to knock me £5 off each battery. Well, that was alright. I couldn't work out how to do it on the website to put them in to get the discount, so I said, if I buy 3 batteries, sorry, if I pay for 2 batteries, will you throw the third one in for free? And they did. So I got £5 off 3 batteries each. That's a fair deal. Now I bought this at 7:30 in the morning on the Wednesday, and I went back to bed. I couldn't sleep, so I'm still looking online, and I went back for looking at Diggers again, and I'm back on their website, and it had gone up to £399, an hour and a half after I paid £365 for it. So they were telling the truth, although they said in a week, not an hour and a half later. So it's now up to £399 on their website, or £440 on their website on eBay. So I think I did really well there. Actually felt I'd saved £35, even though I had to spend £399 for this and 3 extra batteries. But Serious RC, I'd recommend them. I will buy from them again if I ever, or at least I'll look on their website first. Would I buy another one? No. Why would I have 2? I've got 1. But I had a good test, I had a good play around. The battery is really lasting well. I'm only on my 2nd battery, and I've had at least, I must be getting on for 2 hours, and I'm still got power in the battery. It could go any second, but it still means they're getting a very good, although I'm not outside digging in soil. All I've been is running around on this table and digging in the sand earlier on. It's quite responsive off here. When you press forward on something, it instantly seems to go, maybe half a second later. There's not a big delay at all. And I haven't dropped it off the table yet, even though I've been quite close. Well, it's really well made, as you've seen. It's really heavy, 8 kilograms. Sturdy, all metal. Even the box is quite a good box. Yeah, it's polystyrene, but it's got something on the outside, some material. Easy enough to put it away if you're not going to use it for a while, or if you're going to take it to a friend's, have a digging party, or transport it in that. Because in the past, they're just like this one, just came out of a plastic cardboard box, plastic on the front, so you can see through. The next video, part 2, I will be out in the garden giving it some extensive soil digging and potato planting. And then part 3 will be 3 to 4 months digging the potatoes up, which could be the hardest part of all 3. Not the digging the potatoes, but it's getting rid of the tops without having to manually do it and cheat.